probably about the 5th of August 2020. In New Zealand we have a political election coming up in 6 or 7 weeks' time, and that really concerns me, the way people are talking. We've had some coronavirus and other things happening on the earth, and I'm very sure that with all the patterns and what's happening, that we'll see something pretty drastic happen in the future to our political scene. There's been a lot of talk since the coronavirus lockdowns about getting back to normal again and how we're going to go, and the same old excuses, the same old monetary systems and all these sort of things, the how to do this and how to do, all based around money. They don't care about humanity. It doesn't, voice-wise the thought is there, but the overriding factor of all that is that everything seems to have in the past been based on economics, and that's what I believe is ruining the country. It's ruining the earth, and the earth is rebelling. We are made of this earth, our flesh, and farmers and people who have been getting a pretty big hammering in the last few years have been blamed for everything by the minds that try to organise everything intellectually. I don't think it's wrong to be intellectual, but it's certainly wrong to collectively get intellect together and then to rule it over other people, to make other people subject to them. And you'll find in New Zealand that's really bad news. We've been told over the years to look to communists and other countries and things like that and saying they're the enemies, but once you do see that happening, or look closer to home, and I find people in New Zealand are so subjected and used to being subjected to a bondage, a slavery, dependent upon the government. They've lost their own individual, many have lost their own individual persons themselves, and we're leading into another age now, and that's going to be over. And I see people rebelling. This morning there was an explosion in Beirut, and you could see that happening, gosh, from months and months ago, something like that in order. You see Venezuela, places around the world where people are fed up with the control of the, I don't know what it is, whether it's the democratic system or capitalism, or that's blamed for everything, but those things are blamed. It's easy to blame something, but you've got to bring it closer to home, and I can see the same thing rising up in New Zealand, and it's the intellectual collectiveness, the pride, the glory of being somebody, of having a qualification and everything else. It's not wrong to have those things, because we've all personally got to battle it in ourselves. But the thing is that we've given our lives to other people's control of ourselves, and that's what humanity on the overall is rebelling against from the earth. I have dealt with local regional council with waterways and things like that for years, and we've got this modern clean the waterway system and do this and do that. Well, if I do what they tell me, I will be conspiring with them against the environment. I mean, what do I do? And the only thing to do is to really break the law, or their law, because it's not an environmental law in the sense that it's not a natural law, it's a man-imposed law, but about what is thought to be good, intellectually contrived. People are well-meaning, but things have got to change, and the only thing I can really boil it down to is the fact that you'll see the same battle elsewhere, and you see it particularly in the United States, and it's the Democratic Republic thing, and one's for slavery, and although they won't admit it, but it's the South and one's the North. One wants to set the slaves free, and one wants to bind them up again, and the same thing's happening in New Zealand. You'll see some politicians stand up and say, look, set the slaves, you get away from the rules, and get rid of some laws, and you'll get others that stand up and say, well, look, no man's beyond the law. So that battle's going on. It's in the human mind. It's so easy to blame people, and I might do it myself, but really we've got to bring it back to our own minds. And that's what I'm worried about this new election. If we want more political parties, which is the wrong direction, we're going to be in trouble. If we want younger voting, which is the wrong direction, we're going to be in trouble. Thousands of years it's been written that wisdom is love, and it's gained through understanding. And I heard the other day it was like 10 or 20 times more understanding and wisdom that a person has by the time they're 40, so between 20 years and 40 years. So when we get educated, when we're young, it's only intellect. There's no wisdom or depth of love in it. There's no experience, and there's little understanding. And the people that want the vote to control the people more, it's like a bad religion, isn't it? Aim for younger voters and more voters. Well, here's all the wise people who are in their 70s and whatever, who are being pushed aside for this young, so-called new and all enthusiastic stuff, and we're going to save the world, well, the earth. It was here already to start with. I mean, their enthusiasm and lack of wisdom is stuffing it up. And I don't want that anymore. I'm sick of it. It's the wrong people are being persecuted. They want to look at themselves. And we're one country, and it's got to be like that. If there's divisions amongst people and we call ourselves different races or things like that, it's because politics started it, and it did. And you just need to look at the people who are crying out for more support from the government. They're messing themselves up. They're becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And if you look at the United States and see the great black people over there at the moment who are real intellectual, wonderful stuff they're speaking. Stop trying to help our people. You're ruining us. And I say the same for New Zealand. Let individuals stand for who they are. We're not meant to be the same. We're not meant to be equal. That's a big problem. You'll see the equality thing coming into so much. Why aren't there on the news media, the equality thing is terrible. We're not meant to be equal. If anybody who knows of the Babylon story, how the world became one, all came in together to be one with each other, and all that sort of false love, taking people's souls away from the reality of who they are. As individuals, religion's done that over the years. Amazing, just promising things for the future and never being able to produce it. And politics is the same way as it works. It's just another religion, really. And people have lost their identity, and the opening up of the internet is allowing people to find their own individual selves. And so I think that the politics, the way we know it, is going to be dissolve into nothing, which will be absolutely wonderful, and we'll be free again. I just hope things go good for us all and the right decisions are made. Thank you.